Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Don't say good night yet because we got Silvertooth on the show. I'm pumped. I had some caffeine, and I think he may be taking a drink at this point now too. But we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into some deep dive stuff, and we're just gonna chit chat and stuff too. Silvertooth has been someone I've been following for a while. As I was telling him backstage, I'm like, I love his content. Every time I see Deep Stakes is live, I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be, he's always has some funny story to tell or like talk about HEX in some super interesting way that you just don't get from a lot of streamers. So I wanted to get him on the show. Finally made it happen. I've got a packed August, and he is like number one, I guess. Yeah, this is August 2nd. Number one on the schedule is Silvertooth indeed. Took me a while to get up with him. But finally did. So very happy to bring you all Silvertooth today. And let's get into it. Let's bring it in. Welcome to the show, Silvertooth.
How are we all doing out there? It's Silvertooth here for another video.
Jerry Oaksmith says, let's go. Yeah, it's we got some I think Jerry also left you a comment on the on the thread today about what was that comment? It was funny, whatever it was. Something about cousins. I remember that. And then, cousin. And then I responded with, you do the work, okay? You do the work. You come on the show. You ask me the question, okay?
Let's do it.
The Existentials is here. In case nobody, y'all don't know, PulseTube, the pulsetube.com.net. The Existentialist is behind that, along with a couple other folks. So if you haven't been there, they aggregate a lot of the Pulse and Hex content. He's an overall great guy. Great to have him on the show a few weeks ago as well. So check that out. Hex Hoddle says, hey, y'all, what's up? What's up? Hey, Alan. You got Alan, RHMax, and Silvertooth. That's true. Silvermax Tooth. That's a word. That's a new thing now. Silvermax Tooth. I like it. The Pothead is here. Welcome to the Pothead. Not a Pothead, the Pothead. I was telling Silvertooth too, I have a shirt accidentally that is his logo of the channel that Silvertooth says someone what was it, Bobcat got
Crypto Bobcat. Yep.
Yeah,
Crypto Bobcat.
Yep. Crypto Bobcat. Stay safe over there, Crypto Bobcat.
One of his fans made that for me, and I was like, oh man, anyone that'll like take time out to like do stuff for me, I better like recognize. So I put it up there, and it's been my logo ever since.
It's very clean. I like a lot of abstract stuff. I don't like a lot of words. I don't like wearing t-shirts with like being a walking advertisement. I'll do HEX stuff sometimes. Mostly I just like the logo. I know that's not the best way of advertising, but I like abstract, stuff like that. So two great fellas, Appalachian. Yeah, what's up, Appalachian? You always comment on videos. Appreciate that. Yeah, crypto. I miss crypto being cats like strong. He's strong like bulls. Yes, Bobcat. They love him. Everyone share the link if you haven't already. Again, I was talking to Silvertooth too. I did some prep work. I know what he's about in a lot of different directions. We're gonna keep it pretty free flow though too. But share the link, get people to come on, ask some good questions. I think it'll be a good show. Speaking of that, how would you like to do introduction? I know I don't know how much you talk about your background and stuff on your own show. Maybe in the earlier days you probably talked more about it, but I catch parts, different parts of your story on there, but not everything. But you want to give us just like a rundown of like, who you are, where'd you come from, how'd you get into crypto, how'd you get into the, the RH community, all that good stuff?
Well, that's kind of a long story. I got in about 2016, 2017 era. I wrote it up. I followed a very good project that was coming out in that era, and it basically went downhill after that. The project, I should say.
I was there.
I was in when Pillar came out. I was in the ICO of Pillar.
Pillar.
Yeah, and I rode that up from like 3 cents up to $1.50 or $1.60. But nice. Then. Yeah, they just kind of went off the wall. David Segal, the owner of it, he kind of flipped ship, moved to the U.S., and he's trying to like get in with senators and congressmen. And then they made it a non-for-profit, which means it's going to be hard to pump. And then they tried charging you like $30 to get a wallet. I'm like, wallets are free. I've got hundreds of them. So Like they just kind of one of those things. But
the
project
story.
the project itself was set. It was rock solid, giving everyone basically your own internet where you could have your own private keys. Like, you know how people get cloud hacked every single day. They'd have to cloud hack every individual person because you'd all have all your information on your own private keys. I like what they stood for. They were great, but
okay. So you're big into Pillar back 2016, 2017, sounds like?
yeah, I hopped on because of JSNIP 4. I like conspiracy theories and stuff like that. So I was watching his, and then he started talking about crypto, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna, and if I'd known about cryptocurrency like back in 2011, I would have been in it like that. It's just the fact that it didn't reach my ears until that era, about 2016, or I would have been in it before, because I saw like the brilliance and genius of it right off the bat, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be in this forever. So.
Like what's cooler than crypto, right? Like even today, after you've been in it for years, you're like, this shit's still pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like it.
Right. It's the people's money, it's not a nation state. So that's the best thing about it. And you can transact peer to peer, transfer to other people. You can do all kinds of stuff on it. And the ability later on to inject this into other things, I think I saw it like as the start of the computer, basically. Like when the computer first came out, people didn't know what it was going to do. They kind of blew it off. It was kind of a geek thing. But it just blew my mind when I read about it and realized how this was going to change. Pandora's box was out, and it was going to change life on Earth here for us.
Yeah, a lot of people I try to say from time to time, remind people every year or so, go read the Bitcoin white paper. Just go. It doesn't talk about mad gains. It doesn't talk about self-custodial wallets. It doesn't talk about any of the stuff that we think of today. It talks about peer-to-peer digital cash. And that doesn't mean I'm in it for the technology. I think you can have price performance and technology. And that's why I like RH products, obviously, so much. But it is really refreshing to go back to the roots of why this stuff was invented, so man can transact with man. It's not for government control, which that kind of keeps creeping in a little bit at a time. But go back to the roots and read the pure energy that comes from that paper, and you'll really, if you're feeling down, just go read the Bitcoin white paper. It's nice.
That's why we started, but then we started getting the mad gains, and we're like, oh yeah, totally different story. So
fuck you, Bitcoin boys. Yeah.
Now I'm in it for the mad gains, right? That's the truth of the matter. I want life-changing gains, and then I'll transact peer to peer. We'll trade them Lambos.
What's more important than financial freedom? Not a lot of things. But yeah, go. So continue the story. So you're into not theta. Somebody said theta. Pillar. And then where'd you go from there?
From there, I wrote it kind of down, and then I got out of YouTube. I deleted a couple thousand videos. Like at my peak, I was at like 9,000 subscribers. I was making like 2 G's a month off YouTube, and I just deleted it all. I didn't like the way Pillar was going or anything like that. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to step back from this and live a different life. So
you're like a Pillar influencer back then.
I was on the first like magazine they had me like on the cover of it, right? Because I was having like when I talked, like Seagal would talk back to me, and we'd talk, you know what I mean? I would do videos like 3 to 5 videos a day saying where I thought the crypto should go, like what they should do with their project, how to market it, stuff like that. Definitely not on the payroll or anything like that. But then they flipped ship on me, man. They flipped ship. They didn't listen.
Man, when you say Seagal, you got me imagine you and Steven Seagal talking over the internet.
We're karate chopping. Yeah, no, he's a good guy. But then, like I said, his objective changed, and that's that wealth thing. Yeah. Once wealth comes into play, then he came over here, and he was in Europe. He came over here to do politics in America and meet up with senators and stuff like that, and basically sign the company over. So if your company is non-for-profit, you're not out to make money. Only internally will money flow in nonprofits, and that's what they do. They just build, expand, grow, hire, and dink their salaries up themselves. But as an outsider, It's hard to do. It's hard to do.
Yeah, I guess the only pro with go nonprofit for that would be less scams. Not a lot of scams are nonprofit, I guess, but yeah, not a lot of good stuff coming from that, unless you literally are just doing a foundation to like do, good in the world, which is its own other category. But for a crypto coin, usually if that's not where you set out to do in the first place, going into a nonprofit, yeah, that's an interesting way to pivot.
But yeah, you don't see nonprofits on the stock exchange. You know what I mean? People don't trade them for mad gains, buddy. So that just got me out of the whole space. I mean, you can give the world a gift, but that doesn't mean you don't get to earn any money in the meantime. So,
Yeah.
I was seeing other people make money, and I was seeing them just go the wrong direction. Just my opinion. I still have a Pillar bag. I have Pillar wallet still on my phone, all that stuff. Just like most people, we have our bags of coins from the past, several wallets, books full of private keys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. There may be still some coins I still have that. Yeah, there's a few. Mostly RH products these days, but having been in it 5 or 6 years, similar to you in that case. Yeah, I'm just thinking about my old bags as well. Yeah, very cool, nostalgic in a way, in some ways.
Yeah, so and all in the red too, except for
especially today. Yeah, maybe a year from now it looked a little bit nicer, but. So that's interesting that you used to make money from YouTube. From what I understand, watching your channel now, you don't monetize, right?
Not at all. Won't do it.
Okay. What I'm just curious because on this channel I've only been doing it a few months, but out of principle, at least currently, my current feeling and all this stuff, I just don't want YouTube to pay me. I don't want sponsorship to pay me. I want to keep the content as pure as possible. And no strings attached. It's kind of a libertarian thing too, of just like have control over your ideals and show and stuff. But I'm just curious, like why don't you monetize? Like is it about principles? Is it about, you just fed up with stuff?
It wasn't that really so much as they YouTube can be your best friend or they can be your worst enemy. So I had like 9,000 subscribers and I said something not YouTube appropriate. Basically, and it wasn't bad. It was just, if you're into hunting and you eat meat and stuff, you know what I'm talking about. But I said that, and instantly overnight, instead of having like 3,000 to 5,000 views per video, it went down to like 300. Like they instantly shut me off. So I went from 1 month my check was 2,000 to the next month they said, well, you have to have 150 accrued to cash out. So it took me actually 3 months after that. So I was making $30 a month to do 3 videos a day. And I'm like, all right, these guys are just using me. They're just using me. So it's basically one of those things where out of principle, then I said, all right, if I ever come back into it, because commercials are, I don't mind them, but usually when I put on a show, I try to find like an hour-long show about finances or stuff like that. And then I do work, like, yard work, stuff like that. And you have to run back to the computer to get off the ads. I know you can have ad blockers and all that stuff, but some of those ads, I'm like out mowing the lawn, and then I have a 45-minute commercial for some product I'm not even into, and so I have to either kill the mower and come in and change the thing, or just deal with it. So it was mostly out of them just blocking me. They stepped on my poor little neck, and I said, you're not going to do that. You're not going to make any money from me again. So I do all these without commercials. That was my get back at them.
I like it. Kind of the middle finger to, hey, I want to be able to talk about what I want to talk about. If you're going to cut me off, then I'm not going to let you have the chance anymore. So I totally get it. I don't want to run into that situation. I don't want to say something where I'm like, I don't want to like have so many views like that. And I don't want that situation to happen to me. Like, I don't even want to be part of the system for it to even happen. And I'm fortunate enough to, still be able to make money through a job and investments and things like that, where I don't need YouTube to pay me either. I'm not going to rely on it for income. So I'm fortunate enough to be in that position. Otherwise, things may be different. Right. So for me, it's about principles. And like I said, it may change in the future, but
dude, you should do it though. You should, because I don't care. Like I got up to those subscribers, and then instantly in like less than a week, I went from like 9,000 subscribers down to 6. You know what I mean? They just totally chop me off and stuff. But if you want to get the word out, if you want to grow, and I don't care about growing. I said when I get 7,000 subs again, I'll delete my whole channel and start over again just for fun. So if you want to grow, they're going to promote only videos that have a commercial. So if you're like offended by commercials or you don't want to bug your people, just put one at the end of the thing. You know, if they're still trailing off watching, at least it's got that video attached. It goes on the algorithm. They push your stuff out. It's better to have videos if you want to grow. I just don't care because I like to come on here and ramble and talk shit. So it doesn't bother me if I don't have 10 million subs or anything, because I don't plan on making any money off them anyway.
That's a good point. No, it's something. I mean, there's a lot of different verticals that I will continue to think about, but I just still, I see a lot of people streaming and their goal is like, oh, I want to get to 5K subs, 10K subs. They're like, their goal is subs. For me, subs are good. There's something I like to see go up. I like that number go up. But at the end of the day, I just want to have utility in the community. And I know you can make the argument, okay, the more subs I have, the more popular I am, the more ads they are, the more people that'll see it, on and on. But I'm like, at a certain point, you got to say, what am I going to compromise on? And like I said, this could change in the future, but I just don't feel like I'm getting anything out of it. If I do, I feel like I'm giving up more control and not getting a huge ROI on that. So I don't know. We'll see. If I get 10K subs, maybe I flip something on and off. But even now, it says I can monetize now, and I'm like, no, I just so far not. So anyway, I was just curious because I know a lot of people, they do monetize. It's a lot of people make their businesses off of here, or they have something to sell you, or they don't, whatever. But for me, I don't want to sell you anything. I don't. I want to have utility. Richard says you should have utility in the community. I was passive for 5 years. I've been following Richard since 2017. I didn't interact with the community at all, really. I was very just in the dark, just watching, listening, trading, doing stuff like that. But just a few months ago, I was like, the streaming stuff doesn't look too hard. I should just try it and do it. And then use some of my technical skills. I have a background in security, computer security professionally for over a decade. So I've been doing like a security AMA and like trying to help people answer their security questions and have that utility as well. And then I have a technical blog where I talk about crypto and all this stuff. So streaming is one aspect of that, but for me, it's not. Subs are nice, but the point for me of doing this is just, pumping my own bags, having utility to the community, and giving back. I've been given so much from RH, from the products, from Scivive, from the wisdom, things like that. I want to give back. I want to pay it forward. And I may be just one of those people who I just don't care about money. I care about my investments doing well, but I don't care about getting money from other people, if that makes sense. So if anyone's going to be in Vegas, I'll be giving away a ton of stuff that I paid a bunch of money for, a ton of RH t-shirts and pins and mouse pads and stuff like that, that I paid for totally myself, maybe out of my HEX gains, I guess you could say that. But I don't want anything from anybody. I don't want anybody's money. So, fortunately, I don't need it.
You going to Pulse then in Vegas?
Yeah. I was going to ask you, are you planning on going?
No, man. I'm shoring up home. I'm getting all my bills paid down. I'm like, I want to be like financially independent on the homestead. I had a bunch of private loans out. I had credit cards maxed out. I need to rein it in. You know what I mean? Get my cost of living down per month here. So I'm not spending any money.
I hear you. Well, speaking of that though, you do take donations, right?
Yeah, but it's not. If you give me HEX, I'm keeping that. I'm keeping
all right,
that.
Everyone. You heard him.
That's going in the bag. But
do not.
If someone
only fund Vegas trip. I got you, man. I got you right here. This is
But HEX is the one that will make me rich.
No, we're trying to get you to Vegas. We're pivoting. Okay, we're pivoting. This is not my address. This is Silvertooth. I got it from his channel. Hopefully, I copy pasted correctly. You can check it, see if there's anything in there, I guess. But again, do not send him HEX. If you want him to go to Vegas, only fund Vegas trip. Okay, everyone. But if you don't want to fund Vegas trip, send him HEX. You send him whatever you want. But again, if you like his content, if you want to support him, he doesn't make any money off his show. So if you want to send him something, I'm sure.
Well, Inadvertently, I do, because I'm into Hex and I'm into Pulse and PulseX. So I'm definitely making money off this. So, you know, I look at it
That's
as
okay.
I'm set in the future anyway. So just let it ride. Don't worry about it and everything will be fine.
I feel exactly the same way. That's the way I explain it. You know, when my wife asks me, "Why aren't you making money on YouTube?" I'm like, I don't want to make money on YouTube. I want to have the wisdom to make good judgments and invest correctly, especially in RH products, where I make my own money. I want them to spend their money on RH stuff if they want to, for example. I don't want to make money off other people. I want to, you know, I want to use my brain to make myself money. So yeah, I feel the same way. Anyways, the Ethereum guy listed in the chat. If wants to, we're going to get into questions. So we've had enough. What do you call it? Not introduction. What's the fancy word? Preamble. There you go. Preamble. We had enough preamble.
There you go.
What is the best thing about HEX and nobody ever talks about?
The fact, because most people don't know this, it is such an awesome thing. When I got into HEX, it was under a penny, right? It was well under a penny. So you could actually stake a big chunk for a week and make a lot of money. And people haven't experienced that, because if you spend $20 and you stake a week, it costs you 50 to get off, right? Because Ethereum at the time was so low. So when we go on PulseChain itself, and it only costs you a penny to put in like you know, 5K for a month, and then you're gonna bring home so much money. It's like, oh, you realize, oh man, this is an asset. If I put 5K in, it'll give me enough to pay my bills, and it only cost me like 3 cents in transaction fees. Not a lot of people that were around before the run up experience this, and they're going to be able to experience it again, because you can put a big chunk in, short-term stake it. I did that for a while before I learned about 555 stakes. And that's the step up, when you realize, oh man, if I stake this longer, I'm going to get more T shares, I'm going to get more of everything. So like, I did away with that short term, but man, it's almost like a rental property or a house or an asset. You can actually make cash, and it takes a lot of money, but you see people that'll go in and put like 100,000 in on a 1 week stake. You're like, that's dumb. Why'd they do that? And then you do the math of how much they actually made in that week, and you're like, holy shit, I don't make that in a month. You know what I mean? That type of thing. And you realize that this is an asset, just like a home. It's awesome. A home that you rent out, I should say, not a home you live in.
But you see a lot of people, if you follow well HEX, you see a lot of people making these, you know, like you said, 100K, you know, several million HEX stakes for a short period of time, for a week, usually not under a week, but a week or 2 weeks, right, or a month. And everyone's like, why are they doing that? Why don't they want the t-shirts? Why don't they want all this stuff? And you're saying it's because you're able to make so much yield in that short period of time, because bigger pays better, right?
They're making rent right there. They're making rent every week. And most people that don't have, like, at least, you know, let's just say that have a little bag of HEX, they know that they'll get wrecked trying that completely because of gas fees. So they've never experienced that. Imagine being able to put $10 in, staking it for a week, and seeing that you got like $10 plus you got $3, and then you start doing math here and saying, man, if I just put like a couple of my paychecks in here, I can be paid. You know what I mean? It can be paying me. Like it's a asset, and it's incredible, man. It's incredible. And it's something based off a system where you're not going to get rugged. That's the most important thing. Like 90% of crypto seems to be rugs nowadays. And Richard Hart's like the only one I trust, honestly.
That's what is hardest thing I've noticed for people. You can explain HEX to them, and you can tell them how it's so great. And then you tell them, you know, this and that. And then they'll be like, well, how can I trust it? And then how do you explain that it's a smart contract that's trustless and has all these properties and all these good things? And, you know, the founder's never sold, and he's, you know, always your best friend. How do you even tell that to people to even get them in this? Like when you explain HEX to people and they, you know, push back on XYZ, like how do you overcome that? Like they just don't get it. Are you even able to overcome it?
Not a lot of times. What got me into the market? See, I followed Richard Hart before he put anything out. I watched his video where he was talking to that guy about explaining that he was going to make a product called HEX. what's his name that he did interviews with for the thing before, and I'm like,
the Kevin guy,
whatever it is. But
no.
I sat there and I thought, man, you know what? This guy's giving away HEX, a Bitcoin. If you hold Bitcoin, he's giving away HEX, and I don't hold any Bitcoin, so I'm just gonna forget about this project. So what got me into it is when I clicked back on it a few months later and saw price go up. I'm like, holy shit, I missed out. I didn't know that I could have. I thought it was an airdrop only and that it would be in that ecosystem. Like basically you had to have Bitcoin in order to have it. So I didn't think that it would go up so much. But when I saw the price going up, I'm like, all right, I'm in. I see. So money brings people in. That's why Richard Hart goes around and flaunts cars and castles and all that stuff.
Castles.
Is because he wants people to see that this will produce money.
So is that what makes it so hard in a bear market to sell HEX? And well, for anything else, I guess, is people don't see the money increasing?
Yeah, that's it. Once money starts going down, you're going to have that correction every time. HEX is no different. It's had 60, 70, 80% corrections before where it just, but every time it comes back harder. So you know it's going to come up more, and you know, now's the best time. Now's probably the best time to get people in. Now I'm thinking that the market, personally, this is just my 2 cents. I think that the market's going to go up and then come back down to where it is right now before we're out of this bear market. But people are going to see growth, and that'll, you know, and I think I'm getting ahead of myself here because you've got some questions. I saw your questions here, but
that's a great segue into it though. So you think relief rally is coming?
Relief rally for sure. Yeah. Relief rally, because basically we have the voting coming up here and the economy's got to look strong. And when the economy's strong, then you have a strong stock market, and then the stock market's going to raise up Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin's going to raise up HEX type thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. Do you want to do, so I wanted to do a TA update too. Do you want to talk about that? Like what's going on with HEX?
Yeah.
You can share if you want, or you can just talk about it either way.
Do you have shared aloud?
You should be able to share, and then I can put it on screen.
Okay.
While you're getting that set up real quick, I'm just going to answer a question from Refined Hayseed Appellation. Question for RHMax: can you condense game theory around OA address? Condense the game theory around it. I would just say, and maybe Silvertooth can speak to this too, but I mean, the simplest way I can, maybe that was to, on my comment of OA is your best friend or something too. If you have a benevolent well, which means, you know, they're in it they're neutral. They're kind of like helping to protect things. In this context, we say it as in they're someone who has a bunch of the coin and they have no incentive to just dump on you. Think about it in that way. You could say that the OA existing and having centralized ownership and having so much of that ownership within it, and then if you believe that they are your best friend, that they're HEX's, you know, holder's best friend, that they exist to protect the price and to control the price in a good way, control it where you don't have this massive dumping from all these other wells, which HEX has a lot of wells, but you know, the biggest one, they have a lot more power than all the other ones combined. You can make a case for. That is a good thing for price. Now, is it a good thing for decentralization, blah, 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 those other things? Maybe not. You can make a case against them. But for price performance, it is a very good thing to have a benevolent well and someone or some entity who has no incentive to sell. If it is Richard, for example, if you're a billionaire, that's one of my favorite things about Richard. He's already rich. There's no reason to sell. He's in it for glory. He's in it for reputation. He's in it to have all these bragging rights and to be the greatest human being he possibly can be. And all that would be destroyed if he dumped on everyone, right? So he is totally aligned to never, ever rug pull if the OA is Richard, for example. You got anything on that to add on that?
Oh, you bet. I don't know. Am I screen shared right now or not?
Yeah.
The chart up here? Okay, I can't. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we'll talk about this. Richard Hart he stated in one of his videos, I think he let it slip, 250 million he sold his company for. And then after that, he got your donations for Pulse, which made him a billionaire. There's $1 billion sacrifice for Pulse. And then there was $1 billion sacrifice for PulseX. So a guy that has over $2 billion, if he just went in and said, you know what, I'm going to put this in something very low yielding. I'm going to put this in municipal bonds. They're safe. So you pay a city, they build a school, they pay you back plus interest. If he did that with just 4% interest, he'd be making about 80 million in interest alone. See, that's unfathomable to most people to have 80 million, not just to look at it as I'm earning this every year just for doing nothing. So the guy has basically no money need at all, which is why he's probably the best guy to be in this and the only guy that I would want in control of that 80% bag. Now, people have done rug pulls off this because they're guys that they were starting out with either started out broke or were in this to make money. So Richard Hart's already got plenty of Bitcoin, plenty of that, plenty of money, everything. He's over here to kick some ass. So that's what he's in it for, and that's why I like him more than anyone else, and that's why I have faith in him, because it's one of those things. So
yeah, no, for sure. It's one of the best things about RH products. You have a founder who's completely aligned with price go up, and what more can you ask for? So Hex TA, what's going on? Good, bad, ugly. What's happening?
All right, let's look at this real quick. So we had the Hex top. This is important. We had this 19th of September. So I'm going to stop sharing that. 19th of September, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we have the Bitcoin chart here, and we go back to the 19th of September, and we see it was right around here that was the Hex top was. So there was a big growth in Bitcoin, and Hex did nothing. The decorrelation of that, because we'd already sacrificed, and we're ready to go, and then another sacrifice, and time lag went on with no growth, meaning we didn't. I think we hit a top, and we needed to come back down. Personally, which is the short way of saying it. But the fact that we had the top 2 months before Bitcoin leads me to believe that we're going to rise before Bitcoin rises. So that's us being decorrelated. So we went down before them, and as soon as this leads into the launch of Pulse. So Pulse is probably going to launch before the Bitcoin starts going up. So in that case, that tells you right there from just thinking that the Hex is going to go up before too. So we get out of this bear market before them suckers that hold that boomer coin do. So it's an awesome thing.
Boomer coin. Yeah, that's so can we that's what I asked too. Can we still say that Hex, that was like all the rage last year? That's what all the investors, all the new investors, institutional wise, at least want to hear. They want to hear that Hex is a decorrelated asset. But you're just going through the TA, you can see Bitcoin against Bitcoin, very interesting ups and downs. Does this bear market change that narrative for Hex being decorrelated, or do you think on a longer time scale it's still intact, the narrative is still there?
Not at all, because people are so hungry right now for anything to go up. Hungry that when Pulse comes out, I think it's gonna rip. I do. I don't. Most people say, oh, well, when something comes out, it's gonna go up and then it's gonna drop 90%. People are gonna take profit, but you got to consider that Pulse is coming out $0.00. It can't drop down to that level again, bud, unless it's an exit scam. So we're gonna go up, and I think that when that happens, you're gonna see that Pulse on Hex on Ethereum is also going to go up too, even though like most people are like, oh man, it's all about the PHEX, it's all about getting in there in the Pulse system and getting that. I think that the coalition of both, it's going to rise that up. So yeah, I think there's a decorrelation big time, and I think we're going to pump way before Bitcoin does, and then we might settle down and have our retraction as Bitcoin is going down, because we're in USDC, right? Basically Hex is correlated with USDC. That's our biggest trading pair. So we have the dollar versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the opposite of the dollar. When one goes down, usually the other one comes up. But right now, everything's getting crushed, so they're both going to go down. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to come up at different times, because they sure are. You watch, as soon as Pulse launches, that Hex price is going to shoot up big time, and Bitcoin's still gonna have its toes in the dirt, dragging.
Yeah, I definitely think Bitcoin is the boomer coin in that way. Although you can see a lot of people, if they get rich in crypto, a lot of times they do put it in other stable assets. Even the most stable of the risk on Bitcoin, if you can call that stable, but real estate, everything else. So what is your plan? When you achieve financial freedom through crypto, what is your plan to do investments and things like that? Have you thought about it much?
Assets. Oh yeah, I've been studying real estate for 10 years now. I watch all Ben Mala, I watch all Meet Kevin, I watch all those guys. And I really want to get into like triple caps, which means like 50, 100 rental properties where it's got monthly income coming in. Or I want to get on those, and then triple caps, which are actually like office spaces like Best Buy and stuff like that, because they take care of themselves and then hire someone to do I brain farted there, sorry, to do the apartments themselves. So I want apartment complexes, and then I want office spaces that can be rented out. Oh. So I really want to get into that. So I'm gonna get some gold and silver too, minimal amount, but like at least 5% of my portfolio, right? Just as a hedge in case everything goes, and then stay in crypto. So cash, crypto. They say real estate, gold, money, and art are the four. I don't want to get into art though. But those are the big ones.
Wait, if you were to get into art, would it be real art or NFT art? What would you?
No, it'd definitely be real art. You go back in history, and when countries got conquered, the rich people, all they do is take the deed to their land, they'd roll it up in a ball, and then they'd rip out all the paintings, and they'd roll those paintings up, and they could basically go with a 1-pound backpack, get away from the war zone. The country got completely destroyed. They come back in and say, all right, new lord of the manor, here's my title for the place. I got this. And oh yeah, I got these paintings I can sell too. So traditionally that's the way it was. It kept you light on your feet. I guess now I'm just not an NFT fan, man. I'm not. So that's just me. Okay. You do what you want to do. You be you, boo. I'll be me. That's what I say to people. But I don't put any money into them. If I get them free, if they make something, they make something. But chances are, I think that's a bigger bubble. I think that has a bigger correction than anything. Because the market is flooded at this time,
Well, I mean, you could make a case too that there was a bubble and then it popped during the bear market. I'm not an NFT fan. I'm just like playing this other case side too. And then in the new bull market, NFTs, what if they do find a place? We see it around HEX now with HSIs, for example, with Hedron. What if they do find an actual use case other than art? What if it picks up there?
You're reading my mind, because that's exactly what I'm laying down here. Like we're having, before we had Blockbuster and stuff like that as video stores, right? Yeah. And then it evolved, and the next evolution of that was Netflix and all these, and they're competing, and that's going to evolve again into someone, you know what I mean? So I think the NFTs that are around now, very few of them are going to make it, just like the crypto market where you have, thousands and thousands of projects. And then look at the chart from 2015. Do you recognize pretty much any of those cryptos? No, they're all gone. They all went bye-bye. They all went to zero, or now 6,250 on the list. So
people are still trading Litecoin. People still love Little Chicken. I have no idea why.
I've got a lot of friends in the Litecoin community, man. So I definitely won't say anything bad about Little Chicken rocket ship. But the most of the people in that community right there are like true warriors. Honestly, swear. Because they want freedom, and they're all in it. That's they're screaming for it. They're like, this is the gold, or this is the silver to the gold, and all that stuff. But I can't do it. I can't do NFTs because I saw the rise in HEX. I can't do any other coin or anything because HEX ruined me. You know what I mean? It's like I was living a middle class lifestyle, And then I went out with the dude, and he showed me his 180-foot yacht and his private jet and everything. And then I got to go back to my shitty hotel. You know what I mean? And I'm like, ugh, I got ruined completely.
Well, even a more even another example could be, you drive a Tesla and then you go try to drive another car that's hybrid or electric, and you're like, this doesn't feel right anymore. I don't think this is cool anymore.
Right.
Yeah, that's
a great copy.
Yeah, this is a bad. There's buttons here. What are buttons for? It's a point that really I struggle to see people, and a lot of influencers too, come to terms with that. Once you get into RH products, they just, I don't know, some people get bored and then they start, going after other coins and chasing other shiny objects. For me, it just makes sense. Like you said, once you get into RH products, once you see HEX, once you see, the man on the mission who designs these things and, best founder, all this stuff, and the community and everything else, why would you go anywhere else? What does anything else have to offer you that you can't get here? Eventually someone else will build it in the community or otherwise, or RH himself will build it. I don't know. Do people just get bored or what?
Yeah, no, it's the down market. People got into it making money. They got into it making that cash. And now that cash is put on pause, but will continue later and greater in the future, they're like, well, they can't sit still. I'm all staked. I have 10 to 15 year stakes in HEX. That's it. I own 0 liquid HEX. Actually, I own 3 HEX, I think 3 or 4, like literally 4 HEX in a wallet. But besides that, I'm 100% staked, on average 10.99 years. And then I went, everything that I had liquid, all my cash, all my assets, everything, I put that into PulseX when it came out, because I knew that when a dude's doing the biggest airdrop in the fucking world, pardon my French, here it comes out. Here comes the Silvertooth.
Silvertooth
in the house. But when Richard Hart's doing the biggest fucking airdrop in the fucking world, people are going to come in and they're going to sell that. And where are they going to sell that? Well, they have to use PulseX to get out of the system. And each of those transactions, if I provide liquidity for that transaction, I get to be the middleman in the crypto space, right? I get to say, here, you want this US dollar and you have this bag. All right, we'll do the transaction. And I get the token for that, the freebie, you know what I mean? So yeah, I saw that as a better get-go than I did Pulse. Really. I saw Pulse, and when Pulse came out, my whole feeling with Pulse was I'd rather have HEX. Because if I'm going to have my HEX and then I'm going to get my HEX on PHEX, I'm a winner already. I don't need to do anything. But then he got me. He nailed me with that PulseX. I'm like, all right, so we're going to have our own Uniswap basically on here, and I can help out the community and then get paid to help out the community. And it just, that I'm like, all right, I'm all in on that. So I took everything. So basically that did a lot of good for me, because I can't touch shit. So I can't screw myself over, and I could have gone and bought a house, man. I could have gone and bought a brand new built house right off the bat, walked in the door, and this ain't the Taj Mahal. I'm in a trailer here. So, but I know that I can buy a 50 rental property and a house when this comes out. So I tried to do the smarter delayed gratification thing. So I took it out of my hand, so I couldn't hold it, because if I hold it, I'm going to be like, oh, well, let's go to dinner. All right. Well, it's been a long week. Let's go on a trip and let's go up to, Wisconsin Dells, or let's do this or that. And I would have dwindled that money down with no assets, no income. And then you all would have been laughing at me, because you all would have been rich after that. So
true diamond hands, locked up his HEX for years and years, sacrificed owning, a house and other things, and going out to partying and you spending on any other shiny object that it could. No liquid HEX. I love it, man. I love it. You are a great example of delayed gratification and what RH products are about, and sacrificing now for a bright future. I love it. Archie had a question here about 30 minutes ago. Michael Saylor news. You got anything on Michael Saylor?
Yeah, he just did a tweet here about an hour ago. Did you see it?
He's still at McDonald's?
He stepped down. Stepped down.
He took the manager position at the McDonald's.
From wrecking people. He stepped down.
He stepped down from wrecking people. Well, Michael Saylor. So to me, Michael Saylor, I think he did all the good things for crypto. He's definitely the spokesperson that is out there pumping bags of some sort. He put his money where his mouth is. He bought a ton of coins, and then he kept buying them, even when the market's going down. Just kept buying them. So you can question judgment there, but I think overall, I'm cool with laser-eyed Michael Saylor. I know he's easy to make fun of in the bear market too, and of course he doesn't own HEX, or does he? I don't know. So there's that angle. But hey, and all the McDonald's memes are hilarious, of course, because he just has that face where you can like put his face on all kinds of different memes, and it's funny. So he's got a very memeable face. But I don't know. He definitely, his investors probably are questioning a lot of the decisions he's made, and no doubt he's maybe lost some money so far. Although on paper, I guess you could say that you can't lose if you never sell, but you can if you're doing margin. That's a different story. So who knows what his books look like on that end, or maybe people do know. Do people know? Are they reporting like he's actually losing money like that?
Yeah, he's over $1 billion in debt, I think, something like that, or $1 billion down, something like that.
Well, the United States is trillions in debt, and we're fine.
Yeah. But at the same time, I just have no interest in him, man. Like, I've never read his products. I've never seen his live show. Like, if he came like right next to me to the Coliseum here in town and was like, "I'm doing a free show, come on in. I got you VIP passes," I probably wouldn't even go because I
Oh, you got to go and fly that hex.com stickers and stuff. You got to you got to shove him a business card or something.
Right. But I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like, I don't know if I approve or disapprove of anything he says because I haven't done any research, because I found smarter people like Richard Hart. So
that's true. Well, I mean, Richard, I wouldn't always go to Richard for objective news or advice. He tends to be sensational in a lot of ways, and as the Richard Hart maximalist, I try to be, when I listen to him talk about things, sometimes I'm like, ooh, I can see an angle there, but in the end, I mean, he definitely speaks truth to a ton of different stuff that are helpful and useful. That's kind of like one of those things when you grow up, you're like, oh, don't they all just tell the truth? And isn't the world just black and white? And actually, no, it's not. And Richard brings out a lot of that nuance, which is mind-blowing. So we definitely thank him for that. I think he shits on Michael Saylor so much just because it's another person with a lot of followers that he can get, hashtagging likes with. In the end, I would say if he was on stage with Michael Saylor, they'd probably get along pretty well, I gotta say. But then would that just be Richard just being nice to get, it's all these meta games too. So
I'd be using the same catchphrases. I give 27 million to charity. I've had a product that's been up for a year and a half. I've never had no downtime. Richard Hart would just say his spiel that he does. He's kind of, I love Richard Hart, but he's kind of like a long-term marriage, right? Where your spouse, you're like, they go to tell you a story about that time that they met so-and-so, and you're like, oh God, I've heard this 585 times. You know what I mean? So every Richard Hart video, I get like 20% content and then 80% repeat, because it's not because he's boring or anything. It's because he has to get the new people in. And this might be the first time you see the video, so he's got to say all the latest and greatest. And it's just like the old lady story time, you're like, oh, all right.
I hear you, man.
All right, let's go through this and see if we can pick out any chunks of wisdom. Did anything get said?
I started, I'm exactly the same page. I started watching Game of Thrones again, and you remind me of the lady at the beginning when the little boy's paralyzed and the lady's reading him. Oh, do you want to hear a story about this one? And he's like, no, I want the scary story. And then she starts telling about the White Walkers. He's like, oh, yeah, I don't know if I want to hear that one. But yeah, it's these days Richard is kind of just he's on the, how would you say? He's kind of like on that tour. He's on the tour of telling people, the message, he's getting it out there. And he's kind of like, I don't know, you say like he's like a Tony Robbins in the way of, he's here to get the word out. And he's even said it before. He's not here for you. You're already in. Unfortunately, he's not here for the people who've been following forever, because he knows we're already in. He could say the same shit for 5 years and we'll be like, yeah, I mean, we miss old Richard, but it's not like we're gonna stop buying HEX or something, right?
Yeah, it's he doesn't have to do any of this. You understand? This is Richard's deep drive to win. It's the only reason he's doing this, you know.
Yeah.
His deep drive to win, and it's flaunt after flaunt. And the funny thing, I don't know if you followed him like a week or two ago, and he's like, you know, what if I lay off and don't talk about my big peepee and don't show people stuff? And then like it didn't even take 24 hours, and he's like, look at me at the fucking castle. Woo, we're rich again. I'm like, what? So he's
rich
like,
again.
it's bred into him that, all right, I can't just sit back. He's like us, you know, we're like win Pulse, and he's like he's doing the same. I think he's doing the same thing to the devs. So every time I say, hey, Richard Hart wins Pulse, Richard Hart's calling the devs and be like, you know, on the computer, and he's like FaceTiming them and being like, wins Pulse. You know, people are asking me, you know, I think he's pumping that. But the longer we wait, the better, man. The longer we wait, because we've already got $1 billion of people's money, right? So who's going to get into it? It's got to be a new crowd. It's got to be a new crowd. So on the come up there, we got to get people, and we got to show them a chart, and that chart's got to kick ass. And once they see a kick-ass chart, they get into it and make that chart an even better chart. And that's how this thing kicks off. Money. That's all it is. Money. People want to see gains.
So just on the launch part too, if the better chart comes from timing a bear market, do you think there's any truth to him doing that? Or do you think there's just the legit bugs that, you know, he's going as fast as he can? What team are you on? Team time the market or team fix bugs?
I'm kind of, this is my view. I think I want to say that Richard Hart is smart enough to know that time equals growth. And the longer you wait, because delayed gratification is this thing. So the longer we go and the closer we go to the end of the bear market, the more your token coin is going to rise. You know, I want to say that he's smart enough to do that. And he is, because he said those exact words. But then he says, that ain't me. I ain't doing it. So I don't want to be on team Richard holding back. But on the same side, I'm on team, this is the smart thing to do. Either way. So we got a blessing with some bugs. We got a blessing with some code that slowed us down.
I think that's a reasonable, you know, I could totally see him using that as an excuse. Oh shit, we got these bugs. We really need to fix them. But hey, everyone, you know, the bear market's not over yet. I'm gonna be the public face. I'm gonna smooth things over. Everyone's so mad. Most people are so mad about it. But I'm gonna take the brunt of all the comments. But I know it's gonna be better for the long term. I could see that too. I could see that being a thing too.
Well, people gave him $1 billion, so we need $1 billion more to come into the ecosystem. So if that's the case, we need Richard Hart out there on Good Morning America, Richard out there talking about Financial Times, Richard Hart putting out his movie on Netflix, getting the broke plebs in, showing big ass gains and stuff like that. We need all this to go on.
That's what you said. That's what you mentioned too, was the document. So tell people about that. The documentary, you think that might be a reason why they're timing the bear market, or not timing the bear market. They may be timing the release with the documentary release. Is that right?
Well, I don't think that is timing. I think that that's his layout. Like when you were doing the show, you sent me things that you wanted to talk about, right? So that's his layout. This is his game plan to win. Yeah. And he said in there in that video, he's like, wouldn't it be so cool if you didn't hear about, or you got into this a Pulse and you heard about it on like basically on the video, the movie, and then you got into it? Or wouldn't it be so cool if you bought it 90% down and you got into it? That's him making more millionaires in the future. I think that that's Richard Hart setting up for his next project. If you want to know, he's a master. He is. So if he had HEX rose up like a motherfucker, right? Then we have PulseChain and PulseX. Now, if he's got projects over here in the background to do, he's got to rise those up too, because he has to have all that glory story coming in. Look at these people that did this and paid off their houses and did this. I'm such an awesome guy. And that gets him his next 2 billion or 2 trillion, who knows, donations for the next one. So it's the whole stacking of it. And it's building his ecosystem. It's building his empire. It's smart as fuck.
Yeah. I'm just thinking too. Couldn't if the documentary released earlier, couldn't they just show all the people? I'm sure they got tons of interviews with Hexicans who have bought houses and all these things we want to show people they can do with this wealth. And then at the end of it, just be like, and you are gonna love this. Richard is working on an even bigger project that's had over $1 billion sacrificed, and now it is going to launch within 2 weeks, something like that, or very soon, whatever the tagline is. And then that's the documentary that wraps, October, November. And then, well, I guess it's still in that timeline, that would still be waiting till it's, do people need to know about it? Does it need to be because it's not even a secret now. So what would be the logic in saying people need to hear about Pulse from the documentary when we're not sure they would even hear about Pulse if it launched without the documentary first?
Because it's the story he's telling. It's the story. All right, go back and remember that Bitcoin movie. What was that Bitcoin movie that's on Netflix?
Oh God, there's so many.
Yeah, but the original one, they were following people around in 2012, right?
I remember that
the rise of Bitcoin.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in there, the guy's like sitting there and he's broken his house. He's like me. He's like, oh man, I believe in this. I put all my kids' college funds in this. All right. And I've got these miners here mining it. It's a story, right? So when people look at this 6 months after it comes out and they say, wow, look at where he is now. And then when I look at the HEX price and it's up here today and they've gone up so much, it gives it got more people. Rise of Bitcoin got a lot of people into Bitcoin because they're like, oh, look at this. It shows the step ladders. It shows a guy skipping past 7 rungs up. You know what I mean? In the wealth game. So those people, imagine those people if they held, because you don't know if they held in that movie. I haven't followed any of their life stories or anything, but those people
probably not.
Those people had like thousands of Bitcoin, right? At that low price. They had thousands of them. Imagine if they held today, how rich they were. And then that puts it in your head as a viewer later on down the line, growing people into the ecosystem. I'm talking a year, 2 years after. They're like, wow, he had the initiative, the know-how to see that the future was going to be here. And the fact that he put it all in and risk it all, the guy may have sold out and gone broke. You don't know. But you're like, if I do the same thing, I can have, and then you know what I mean? It gets them in. And that's just my viewpoint. I don't think it's going to be like that. I'm more like, what is that guy's name? Oh, shouldn't even brought it up. Trevon James. You see him? You watch him ever?
I don't watch him too often. I see his tweets every once in a while. But what's up with him?
But his take on the whole thing was Richard Hart's going to make it, it's going to end when we're at a low, basically. Like all these people are going to be struggling. Richard Hart's going to be rich. Some people are going to be lifted up that believed in the system, and HEX price is going to be at a low at that time. So basically it's going to, like I said, it's a long-term game, not a short-term game where, when you put something on Netflix, if you say, yay, we won, the game's over, right? So you want people to come back in. You're trying to draw people in year, because what if I put out this special on Netflix and said, what if you put out this special when HEX was at 55 cents, right? What are people going to do? They're going to Google that shit. They're going to look it up and say, oh, look at this joke. They were 55 cents. They were winning, and look now, it's 5 cents. What idiots, right? You don't want people. That's going to draw people out of your ecosystem. You want to draw them in. So you want to bring them in on a cliffhanger at the bottom and see this guy's, if he doesn't have gains in the next month, he's going to lose his house, and then they can look into the system here like Rise of Bitcoin and see the actual growth. You don't see any winners in Rise of Bitcoin. You see people that put into it and were hard and stories of their background and everything like that. You know, I think there's going to be a lot of Richard Hart winning in that video, you know, probably flexes of Lambos and ladies and
castles. We got castles now.
Stuff like that. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't think that they're gonna they don't want it to launch at an all-time high. They want it to launch at a low, which is more the reason to believe that, you know, we might pump up to 10 to 15 to 20 cents, but then we're gonna have the fall off before we actually do the rise. You know, that dead cat bounce, so to speak. We're still in the parabola. You got to break out of the parabola to have a dead cat bounce. You got to break out of the trend line to have that dead cat bounce, because it gets everyone invested in it. Like, oh shit, this is going up. We're out of the market. And no market shaped like a V. They're all shaped like U, people. They go down, they stay stagnant, they may have a few, and then they go up. Everyone thinks recovery and our shit's going to look like this right
Hockey
here.
stick.
I just, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, it's time plus drop. You have to have that time.
Well, it's the next few months, it's go time. Next few months, it's go time for, we thought mid-May, we thought, we're going to have two conferences. We're going to have two conferences before it even happens. I can't wait for the vaporware jokes when I'm in Vegas. Can't wait for them.
The 5th year anniversary of the launch of Pulse.
5th year. Oh, 2025. All right, guys. Mid-May 2025. We're almost there. We've had 3 documentaries before the thing launched.
He said May. He didn't say what year, though, right?
That's true. That's true. Mid-May, he left out the year strategically. I need to go through the chat because there's been a ton of comments. We have Serge Padchistin. I love how everyone assumes he's from Serbia, which may be true. He says he's in the U.S., but I don't know. I'm just trying to get to the funniest ones. Somebody said he did have a point on one of these. Maybe we can see if he has a point. I'll give you facts. You're putting in 10K sacrifice from Arch for 90%. Or should you think? See, some of these I can't really read that quickly. Let's see. Let's just see. Without Coinbase, you'll never see big numbers. HEX needs 20 million to be at 20 USD. Yeah. Is there anything in this one? You will never see big numbers saying like HEX needs 20 million to be at 20 USD. Arch. Yeah. Is there anything with how much money Pulse is going to need? I've heard that criticism before of like Pulse won't do what HEX did because of the mass needed to push the price up so much. Is there anything about that you can think of with Pulse?
Yeah, it's complete bullshit. If I go in right now and buy $10 million worth of HEX is going to be at 30 cents, right? Does that mean that we gained all that value? We gained, you see what I'm saying? We're 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. We gained 5 times the market cap because I put in 10 mil, right? And it's not correlated. It has nothing to do with that at all. It's the frenzy. These charts and everything like that, charts and graphs, they're all emotions, right? People FOMOing in and people FOMOing out. So when people run towards the light and run to the darkness. So it's one of those things that I don't even care what the market cap is. I don't even look at market cap. Because it doesn't matter. People said the same thing about HEX when it came out. They're like, oh, a freebie coin that, you know, it could never get up to a penny. People said that. Oh, it'll never get up to a penny. Richard Hart owns 90% of it. But the fact is that he's not selling it. So basically what he did was cut out that supply. So that supply gives it an 80% upride, right? Or should I just quote Richard Hart? When was the best time to buy Bitcoin? When was the best time to buy Bitcoin? When Satoshi held all the coins. See, I've watched this stuff so much I could repeat it verbatim.
I heard it in his voice. You were saying it, and I heard it in his voice.
Right. So I could argue with the guy, but it's just like, all right, dude, you want to lose? Go ahead, be a loser, right? Don't make the money. And when I come back on...
Coinbase issues a statement, HEX can be listed anything over 20% ownership, not be listed now. So again, Serge is a known troll, loosely speaking.
Oh, come on over to my channel, Serge. Look it up. It's called Deep Stakes. Get on there.
Deep Stakes.
Great.
But I'm trying to use Surge as positively to like, is there anything in this that could be like a useful conversation? Is there a Coinbase? Did they have a thing about 20% ownership? Maybe. I don't know. That sounds like something they might
We
actually
don't
have.
want to be on Coinbase, so fuck
But
Coinbase.
yeah,
They're an exit scam. You put all your stuff on Coinbase and you're wrecked anyway. They got your keys, buddy. That's stupid. Why would I want them to list anything or hold any of my money? See, he doesn't know what he's talking about here. He's going to get wrecked. He's going to go into some coin and someone's going to hold his little balls and tell him everything's all right. And then they're going to snip him off.
The imagery. Now costs 2 USD to unstake HEX. Maybe, I don't know. Okay. And then I got to get some responses here. Easy says how Serbia misspelled intentionally, I think. Let's see. I've scrolling through. No, he's not in Serbia. I'm in USA, he says. Okay.
Surge.
Surge.
I give him an invite, man, because whenever a troll comes on, I'm like, come on. You know what I mean? I'm on StreamYard. I'll give you a voice. Come on, say what you got to say.
He gets the people pumped up. I say, as long as he's not like spamming and yelling weird stuff and all that, I'm like, all right, whatever you guys can argue with him, that's fine.
If you got haters, that shows that you're standing your ground and you've got beliefs. So that's awesome to have haters, man. I don't have enough haters. Everyone's like,
nice to them,
Silvertooth's awesome.
I'm nice as long as they're polite, as long as they're not, going off crazy. If they get to say crazy stuff, whatever. But like, I try to make it positive. Like whatever it is, I'm like, I'm like, cool. Yeah, Surge, it's 2 a.m. Serbia. If you're in Serbia, you are up late. Maybe you should get some sleep, sir. So I try not to grind them too hard, but see RG with this PB. Yeah, sorry. Some of these comments are way ago. We've been talking for a while. Trayvon James as well. But now, so to quote Richard here, Trayvon used to promote scams and now he promotes HEX. I remember him saying that like 2 years ago. Great quote. Crypto Heartbeat says,
hey, what's up, buddy? Shit, awesome.
You guys are in the crypto Bobcat trifecta of loving each other. I think loving the community. Yeah.
Crypto Heartbeat's awesome.
Let's see. All right, Serge, I can't post anymore, man. You got a lot of thanks to you for getting the people going though. Terror Burr says, how low do you think HEX will go?
It depends. I think that we could hit I'm gonna guess 1.5 to 2 cent bottom. Like that's gonna somewhere in between those two. And it could spike all the way down to 0.5 because it all depends on what the thing is that creates this. I mean, we're like walking on the door of war here, buddy, in the United States, right? So I mean, we've got the black swan waiting in the background, bobbing its neck, saying, "I'm ready to fuck you all up. I'm ready." And we're all like, "No, it doesn't happen." But we've got the whole thing, and it's all. I'm not into it. It's all propaganda and stuff. But I think that's going to be the letdown that wrecks the market.
You think the macro trends are dangerous for the market right now? The most dangerous thing.
The most dangerous thing right now is the U.S. economy for the market, period. You ever watch the Bitcoin flow chart? How much of it comes here to the U.S.? The live stream chart of it? A lot of it. Crypto is huge in the U.S. See, we're a first world country, right? So you're not getting all these transactions in a third world country where people are using still flip phones. Like, you know what I mean?
Hey, those are coming back. There's a lot of people who are technology detoxing and they're buying the dumb phones. They're coming back.
Right. These are people that want mad gains. These are people that, you don't think that the U.S. is prosperous until you go to the boat club. Go sit on yachts with some old men and see them kicking back, drinking the beer on some expensive, and there's lots of them all over. So I think we inject worldwide some of the most money into crypto here in the U.S. So anything that wrecks our economy and we've had the second inflation, we've had the second quarter of lows. So I think that I think we got some stuff coming here, and a black swan's going to pull all crypto down. I said that about Bitcoin. I don't think 11K is the bottom. I think 3 to 5K is the bottom for Bitcoin. I think it really to get to get people out and shake people out of this system, it's got to wreck them to their foundation that Bitcoin's either going to be destroyed or illegal. Because people have seen it. They're like, oh shit, it's done 85% dips. I'll just hold until they get that sensation that I better take it out before I still have $1 left in there. You know what I mean? That's going to be the flippening. I don't know. Could be totally wrong. I'm not psychic. I just play one on 800 numbers for money.
800 numbers. You gotta get those like 844, 888. 900 numbers. I remember all those numbers.
My crystal ball out, my big hat on, and yeah.
Call in to deepstakes.com.au.se. Yes. We got a question from Refined. Hey, I'm just going to start calling you RHA because that's a long name. I like it, but it's just long. RHA. To RHMax, do validators for Pulse stay away from cloud farms like AWS? How do we stay independent of Bitcoin providers? I'm pretty sure a lot of the nodes are going to be on AWS. Interesting nuance to this question. So I'm sure maybe there will be some at data centers. Maybe Richard's got a data center that he's co-located or bought himself or something. I don't know. But I would say a lot of the nodes, the validators and stuff are going to be in the cloud. That's just kind of how scaling technology works these days. You can, it's for a bunch of different, tech reasons. I can go into ask a further question if you want to know like how things scale, because I can talk about that too. But how do we stay independent from Bitcorp? Yeah, really, it's hard to. They make it so easy. AWS is cheap. You spin stuff up, more or less storage, more or less bandwidth, more or less, blah, 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 EC2, all that stuff. I don't know if the goal is to stay independent, really. The goal is to keep the network running, and AWS has a really good 99% track record, like a lot of cloud providers do, Azure with Microsoft and GCP with Google and stuff too. I don't know the goal is to be independent, but if you want to be, maybe David Fetter, maybe he's running one from a data center and not on AWS. Silvertooth, you got any knowledge on that?
Yeah, he said he's one of the validators. And the best thing is a validator does something that you don't like, devaluate them, get them out of there, right? So it's good for us to know what's in the system, where the system's going through and everything, but there are limitations to what we can do because we got to move a lot of data. We've got to have a lot of things go on. So it's got to be somewhere. But I don't think that it's going to be a security issue like you would think that it's going to be. I think Richard Hart's already got that on lockdown. So
I would think it would be insane for AWS to rug pull a crypto network of any kind. Like there's no precedent for that. So I wouldn't assume that would ever happen.
Unless you're taking pictures of your seed phrase or typing them on the cloud, you know what I mean? You don't get rugged, and the same's going to attribute to Pulse because the code itself, everything, it's not in that system. It's not a hackable event, in my opinion.
Yeah. So the security side of it, they are separate virtual machines. They're separate bare metal in certain instances. So AWS can't access your instances. They can't access your nodes and stuff like that. They may be able to shut them down if you're, doing a DDoS attack against other people or doing something malicious, but they can't get access to your data. The cloud is there's a lot of different security measures that you can put in place when you set it up to protect from that. So that's not really been a concern, I would say. Archie says, still have Nokia old school phone. Yeah. I watched some YouTube video on the dumb phones coming back the other day. And I think, was it Nokia or somebody's making one? There's like some startups that are doing it too. Some Kickstarters that are making you can only text, you can only make phone calls, no apps and stuff. But then there's also some big providers, maybe not Motorola, maybe Nokia, are making like refresh versions of the phones they made 20 years ago, but they're making them with new hardware. So that is a thing. It seems to be coming back. I think Serge is going to bed. It's insane.
Night Serge, come on my channel, dude. I like haters too.
Serge, if you want to subscribe to Deep Stakes,
please
do so.
And I'll even give you airtime to come on and just totally shit on what I'm into. I don't care. I bet you can't even phase me, dude. I've had death threats. I've had all kinds of stuff.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, the worst thing you can think of to say to me has already been said 10 times. So I got
Well, he
pretty
does
thick
have.
skin.
I think honestly, I think Surge is okay troll. I mean, there's trolls that just disruptive, but Surge he just says a bunch of stuff like this question: Will why Hedron will perform better than Hex PLS altogether? Why would it? I guess I would say I don't think it
I
will. I
don't.
don't think anyone thinks it will.
I'm not into Hedron. I haven't free claimed it yet.
Yeah, so I don't think it will. So thank you RHA for the cheers. Love the text only ones. Now let's get to. I think I'm caught up on chat finally. Get to. Let's see what else I got on the list here. Yeah, that's one I asked too about the Hex OA. So, do you think? What do you think the next moves the Hex OA are going to make in the coming months, six months to a year? You know, they claimed Hedron before. You know, of course, with the sack phases, some things there. What do you think the next moves are? Like, how better can they protect the price for Hex?
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that.
We only ask hard questions here.
Yeah, like that's crazy. I don't worry about the OA is like the one thing I don't worry about in Hex because Richard Hart backs the OA and I back Richard Hart. He's the only one that I don't worry about in the crypto space. There was a scam today, just came up. You know, look at Richard Hart's tweet with all the scams. So, probably I don't know what's going to go on. Did he sell them? I didn't even know that happened. So if he claims a bunch of free claim and then dumps it, that's fine with me.
Oh
I don't care
no,
about
he
it.
claimed it. So this was back during the bonus phase of Hedron 2. So you could have a claim and then you can mint later, but you can claim like your bonus right now. So they did claim, the OA did claim the Hedron bonus and you know what they were owed and stuff like that, but they didn't mint any. So it was kind of like a signal. A lot of people think that was like a tip of the hat of like, okay, you know, the OAs and getting involved in this project, they must take it seriously in some way, whether they, you know, like it or not. And he did,
So
and RH did give, he didn't mention Hedron. That's the only other coin I've ever heard him say. Community, usually he says, oh, I don't want to mention these coins, blah, blah, blah. He did mention Hedron by name, I think, on a Twitter space the other day and gave them props for, you know, the HSIs, the NFTs type stuff.
wow. Crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah. What OA is going to move? I don't know. I would like to know, like, what can the OA do to better protect the price? I mean, besides buying Hex every day, I don't think that's going to happen. But like, I don't know. Have you ever thought about like, oh, I wonder what, you know, how the OA are they just going to be this passive benevolent whale that just, you know, maybe they claim stuff every once in a while? You think they're going to make some big moves in the future?
No, I don't. I think the way you're telling me, it sounds like, and I'm not going to say supposedly some other entity besides Richard Hart being the OA. I'll just say that, right, for security purposes or whatever. You know, the reason I think they could do that is I think that Richard's going to be super fucking critical of anything on Hex or on Pulse, right? If you come on my site and you're a scam, I'm going to let people to know not get involved with you. So if he claimed all that, but he didn't take the coins, that could be of him pulling the system if it gets out of control.
Okay, so I mean that would be the control theme, right? You know, OA is about control, right?
Well, yeah, because okay, let's say I give my kid a credit card. I'm gonna watch that credit card, and if she abuses it, I'm gonna take it away, right, for her own good. So if there were ever any shady pump and dump scheme thing going on, couldn't he just come in there and claim basically, because he's got like so much Hex, couldn't he claim like 80% of that and just be like, no, bitch, I'm in control now? You know what I mean? You can do what you want with your little 20%. I've got 80% of it. Therefore, I've stabilized you. I've saved you from your own weak hands. I don't know. I'm just reading into it because this is the first I've heard about it. I don't follow the OA at all. I assume that it's someone cloned from Richard Hart, and it'll do good.
That's an interesting message to send to projects that base distribution off of HEX stakes or HEX in general. Is if you let the OA claim or mint or anything like that, you better be good. You better not be a scam.
Right. But I think Richard Hart will come out and straight say, hey, we've got a lot of things going on now. There's a few things that just started that I wouldn't get into. I think he's going to protect us. I think so. I really do. It's going to be hard for him to let go and let, as much as he hates some NFTs and stuff like that, it's going to be hard for him to bite his tongue and not be like, you're out of here because you're hurting my people,
Yeah. I think, and that's the whole point, is the OA is the entity that keep stuff real in a passive way. Bitfinex feel like they've been launching coin. You really don't need to launch a coin. I mean, there's again nothing against people launching coins, take advantage of bear market and pulse hype and stuff like that. But I mean, you can have utility without creating another coin to go do stuff. Again, meme coins, utility coins, game theory coins, there's all kinds of projects coming out, but don't feel like you need to go create a coin to have utility in the community. I'll just say that.
No, because if you don't have the backbone to hold it up, or you think you have the temptation to rug if there's another correction, like a lot of people would want to rug on this downturn market, and they're like, oh man, we've been in it, 9-12 months and we're at 4 cents. Time for me to rug some money. The whole thing about Richard Hart is he doesn't need the money. So like, it's good not to have my hands in the cookie jar if that can hurt the whole system, hurt me and hurt you. So that's why I didn't. I could have easily come up and there's videos. No, I'm not even going to say it, but you can learn how to scam people pretty easily. You know what I mean? In the system of cryptocurrency. So there's going to be a lot of bad actors in the game, and just because you're not one doesn't mean you can't be lumped in. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that too much. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot of responsibility. Creating your own coin, it's a lot of responsibility. I wouldn't want that on my shoulders unless I was really doing something big. I think I had utility otherwise right now.
I had some confidence that this was going to help out everybody. That's the only. And I would probably give up ownership and control of it. So my little weak hands, because that's me. I'm staked out. I don't want to have any say in it at all.
I was just reading the Surge. I said I was going to stop posting Surge, but he's saying it's pretty funny. And then that's so funny. Anywho, chat, you're hilarious as usual. I remember I watched your birthday stream the other day, and you mentioned it could be January or early next year before PulseChain comes out. Why? We kind of covered this a little bit, but like, can you just go into your thinking on that? Is it just about the documentary? Is it about timing? Just kind of tie that knot, tie that bow, I guess, in that way.
I think probably between January, February, and March, in that area. And the thing is that if you think about that long term and far off in the distance, it keeps you from being like a little puppy dog begging for a treat all the time. You're like, when launch, when launch, when launch. If you're like, oh shit, launch is 7 months away, then that takes that out of your brain and your thinking, and you can move on and enjoy hobbies in life and watch awesome live streams and stuff like that, like this one. I think the basically we're wrecked in this ecosystem. We're gonna have the whole voting thing, regime thing, and then after that we're gonna be wrecked again, so that they can build up for the next presidential election. So we've got a dip coming up here where you might want to, if we go up, take some profit, in my honest opinion, as our dead cat bounce, and then we go down. So there's not a lot of incentive to launch it now. It would be dumb, because if we launch it at 5 cents, HEX goes up to 20 cents, gets everyone cheesed and involved, and then we go back down to 5. You've blown your load. You've done you're done, right? You've killed that 10,000x, because that 10,000x is all about momentum. So you really got to strategically put it in there. And done or not, Richard Hart's smart, and he knows where to put it. You know, he knows that this is coming. I think that we're gonna have the quote unquote dead cat bounce to get people out of the market, possibly a black swan event. But maybe he's working on, you don't know. We don't know. We could say anything we want. Maybe Richard Hart's already had this done 6 months and he's out there working on the wallet right now. And then a year and a half later, he'll take donations for the building of the wallet. You know, we don't know. So we can't take speculate
for the wallet until you launch Pulse. That's true.
Right. But the fact that he stated in there that the order was basically going to be January, they sell the movie. There's going to be stuff in there in the movie to get people into HEX and get people geared up to get into Pulse when it first launches. I think that he wants that movie out there in the January to March timeframe, so that when he launches it, it doesn't just go up from 0 to 7 decimal points. He's got all these people waiting. He's creating a background. This is just like any bar does. If you go to a bar and you can walk in the door, it's a shitty bar and it's always empty and it's 12 depressed people. But if you go to a bar and there's a guard out there with a little gate there and a big long line, you think you're going in somewhere cool. So it's that buildup, that momentum, and that's going to keep it all in. So I really think that he's smart enough to play the game the way it's needed to be played. Because you can give him all the advice you want, but he knows in his mind what he's going to do. So I'm going to leave it at that and not say that he's lying to us, but I think he would protect us, and launching it now would be a bad thing. So it's in his MO to save our asses. That's how he gets glory.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking about the other day, which is if you don't understand why, you know, whether Richard's trying to time something, whether it's done now, whether it's just literally these bugs are holding up and he had every intention of launching mid-May, regardless, you gotta, if you're in the RH ecosystem, you gotta believe he's doing the best for the staking class. He's doing the best for people buying his stuff and the holders and everything for the community. So whether you understand it or not, I think you could just, I would just say, if he does something I don't understand, I could just say, hey, maybe that's a deficiency on me. Maybe I don't know what's going on his mind. I don't know his plans. Maybe he's got it all mapped out. Funny enough, he has been saying, he's been pretty firm on January 2023 for the documentary. I remember him saying that several times in the last year. I wonder, has that been the hint the whole time? If he is going with the documentary time frame, funny enough, I wonder if like that has been the true timeline. It could be this whole time. Yeah,
quite possibly. I don't know when the document was conceived. You know what I mean? When did that all start?
It's been a while, man. They've been working on documentary for, it seemed like forever. I'm telling you, it's got to be at least a year they've been working on documentary.
Okay, so we're talking Pulse sacrifice time then, because Pulse was about a year ago.
Yeah, I think I would speculate before that even. But pretty close to it.
You all don't know. Richard Hart's a freaking genius. He wrote Pulse in like 3 days in his underwear while he was wearing Versace hats. And he's like, done. And he's like, all right, time to build some momentum here. I don't know when all these devs are done.
18 months of momentum. If anyone could do something that crazy and glorious in so many different ways, it'd be that man. Time in the market is better. Time in the market. Yes, that is true. All right, man. I think we covered pretty much everything. That's you killed it, man.
You went way over your limit, buddy. You're like 30 to 45 minutes. We've been on here an hour and a half, and I don't care at all. Yeah. I've had a great time, so it's awesome.
Of course. No, I'm glad. Like I said, I kept pounding your streams. I was like, no, he will talk to me. He will talk to me. He will notice me. And then I found all right.
Had I known, you know what I mean? Had I known, I would have, because I'm always dying to get new people on my stream. Anyone I see with under like 10 videos in HEX, I always try to get them on and be like, hey, dude, come on. you know, because I try to build them up, because the more people that we have doing videos, the more ecosystem grows, because it does the spread. So I've never turned a video down from a person that I've never done a video with, you know. So if anyone asks me to do a video, I say sure. I've been on so many videos in the past. I used to do with Truth Blitz and Crypto Blood, and all way back in the day. Like no one's ever come to me and said, "Hey, dude, will you do a video?" And I'm like, no, I'm better than you. Not at all, because I'm not even doing this for views or money or trying to grow my channel or anything. I just want to bullshit about HEX, and it's just someone to hang out with a hobby that is equal to mine. You know what I mean? So great minds think alike type thing.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, full circle back to, you're not doing it for the subs. You're not 10K, although you did say you're going to delete the channel at 7K. Is that right?
Yeah, I will. So I've already said it. I've done tweets about it and told people, and people are like, no. And I'll be like, I'll take a year off, and then, or half a year off, and I'll come back, start a new channel with like 200 subs. I'll give you all a link. Subs. I won't delete the Twitter. I'll just go back to, you know, being me. Because I don't want to get too big. You get a target on your head when you get too big.
Yeah. Yeah. Please don't delete the Twitter. Your handle is at Silvertooth, 6 or 7 different numbers. You better hang on to that handle. That's going to be valuable in the future.
Yeah, but the people that are subbed to me, I'll show pictures of me and stuff like that, and they'll be like, oh, that's legitly his channel. I didn't, you know. I still have people that come, less than a week ago, someone came to me and said, oh, I didn't know you had a YouTube channel. You see what I'm saying? So I just, you know, I don't know. I can dip out and hide.
Man, you're one of my favorite people to tune into. Like I said, you're one of the few people I have alerts turned on for when you go live, because I know it's going to be a great stream with Deep Stakes, aka Silvertooth. So I appreciate it. People in chat saying appreciate it too. Got a lot of people chiming in. Thank you, chat. You killed it today as usual. It's gonna be a busy week. We got quite a few streams this week. Like I said, we started off this month with the Silvertooth, and hope you all enjoyed our conversation. And where can they tell the people where they can find you, right, if they don't know your channel already?
You can go to Deep Stakes, and it's a picture of the same thing that's on his shirt, and it says Silvertooth.
Silvertooth, and
that's a Deep Stakes, and look for that logo, the HEX logo. There's only going to be one of me, I think.
Yep. And on Twitter, it's at Silvertooth. What the numbers?
Let me go here. I'm going to my profile here on Twitter.
Go post it on chat.
412-02378.
Shit. So I got 412.
It's at Silvertooth 412-02378.
Perfect. Everyone go follow Silvertooth with these numbers. That is not his phone number or his social security number, but they could be. I don't know. And then he's saying no. That is negative. And then go follow me if you're not on Twitter. RHMaximalist, just the way it sounds, at RHMaximalist. And we'll be doing a lot of streams in August. It's going to be great. Got a great lineup. Silvertooth, thank you for being my first August guest. Been a pleasure, man. And we got to do this again sometime, right? Now that you know me, I don't have to bug you as much, and you'll come on again.
I personally want to thank you for putting out these videos and helping the ecosystem. It does more than you know. It gets it, you know, it really does. The outreach is just amazing. So thank you for having the balls and the guts to do it, dude. A lot of people don't. They're afraid. They got that stage fright going on. 85-90% of people have stage fright. They just can't do it. And you just got to come out and make a fool of yourself and just keep going.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's like I said, I want to have utility in the community. This is in my wheelhouse of stuff I can do, push myself to do the research, do the work, and hey, we'll all be rich one day, right? So it's all good. All right, everyone, that is a wrap. Appreciate all the night. me if you aren't already. And I will see you all tomorrow. We're out.